took a couple of days later that there'd been so many cops getting killed that I didn't blame the cop. I was like, you know what? Anyway, he came up, he looked over the ledge of the window in the car. He just real quick, like literally a half a second flash of look. Then he used the center pillar of the window, and he kept his eyes on what my left hand was doing, because he could see my left hand, and he slowly stood up, and then he looked real quick inside to see where my hand was at, and I didn't move. And once he was able to see that I wasn't holding a weapon, he somewhat relaxed. He still had the gun in his hand as he was talking to me. And he asked me, he said, why are you in such a hurry? And I told him the truth. I said, I'm late for work. And he said, you know you're going, I won't say how fast I was going. And I said I was cute. I said, well, I didn't think I was going that fast. But yeah, I knew I was going that fast. But anyway, he wrote the ticket up, and he wrote it up for reckless driving. I did go get a lawyer, simply because on a reckless driving case, you should always have a lawyer. Don't screw around. If you get in Virginia, this is the way it works in Virginia. Anything over 80 miles an hour is likely an automatic reckless driving ticket. Anything that's 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. So if you're doing 45 and a 25 in a residential area, that's a reckless driving ticket. And that means you got to go get a lawyer. And guess what? A lawyer costs $1,000. Oh my God, $1,000 an hour for him to go and talk to the judge and go, hey. And honest to God, the best lawyer you want to get is a lawyer who golfs with the judge. If you can find that lawyer that golfs with the judge, it's worth $1,000, because the lawyer knows the judge. The judge knows the lawyer. The judge knows that the lawyer will not come in front of him and misrepresent his client to the judge. It's not about, they play golf together. It's about they know each other, and that they have a respect that the lawyer's not going to try to blow smoke up the judge's ass and let a really guilty person off. So, long story short, I got lucky on that ticket. I think I got it reduced to, actually, I got it reduced to improper driving, and I got convicted, and it was still a lot of money. But the bottom line was, what I felt bad about the whole thing was I made a mistake. And my mistake was not doing what everybody else should do in a car. And that is, when you get pulled over, just keep your damn hands on the steering wheel and roll the window down if it's not raining. Keep your damn hands on the steering wheel. And if you don't go rummaging through the glove box, or if you're gonna get your license out, just take your wallet out and put it on the dash or whatever, and let the police officer come up to you and tell you what they need you to do. I made an assumption. I was just gonna try to be nice. When the guy came up to me, I don't like seeing police officers come up to drivers' doors on the interstate. That is horrendously dangerous. I never like to see that. I always like to see them on the curb side, the guardrail side of the car, because it's just safer. So that's why I leaned over to that side. I was facing that side, that passenger side window. And will I ever do that again. And an officer will never hear this, but I still apologize to him and every police officer. Just keep both hands on the wheel and bring the window down. Don't act like he's going to bite you. He's not a damn vampire, or she's not a damn vampire. And if you've been screwing around, you got to understand that, hey, you got caught. Don't be a moron. And you might get lucky. They might let you go. when my wife was really, really sick and she was fighting for her life, I got pulled over on a back road. I was kind of messed up in my head. And I was rolling down this back road, and the speed limit was 45, and I was doing I was going pretty quick, and I ran right by a county cop in a it's not black, it's like a gray black color, one of those Ford Explorers, you know, that's set up for the police. And as soon as I saw him, I said, "Ah, son of a bitch." I knew it. I said, and get this, no cop ever sits where he sat. No cop ever sits there. They don't. And so I was kind of admiring how stupid I was because he was parked in the perfect spot to get me. So up the road he came. I saw him in the light, and I saw him in my rearview mirror, and he came up behind me, and I pulled right over as soon as he got behind me. And I didn't tell him a lie. He asked me, he said, "Do you know what the speed limit is on the road?" And I said, "It's 45. And he says, "Do you know how fast you're going?" Yeah, I was going probably about 60, 65, something like that. He said, "No, you're going faster than that." He said, "So what's going on?" I said, "Well," I told him the truth. I said, "Look, I'm just in between home and the hospital. And the guy let me off. So you know, I don't have this situation where, you know, I grew up with police officers that were my dad's friends, and they were great people, and they risked their lives every day. And I've known police officers of every ethnicity: Indian police officers, Indian American police officers, Black American police officers, Japanese American police officers. I got a real good ticket from one of those, and he was pissed. I got that years and years ago. But he was right. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I was speeding. That was, God, that's been like 20 years ago. And that cop, years later, he got killed. He was a motorcycle cop, and he got killed in an accident because he got hit by a driver. I don't think it was a drunk driver, but he got hit by a driver and it killed him. And that kind of affected me. I didn't, you know, like I said, I was guilty, and the cop did his job. And even though he was pissed, he treated me with respect. You know, he did his job. So, you know, but anyway, I don't know. So this is heading out 3, going towards Cold Pecker, Virginia. I call it Cold Pecker, Virginia. And as you can see, it's beautiful out here. It's just a nice drive on a nice day with the sun shining and God shining through my window. And I'm not stuck at the house. Sometimes I think the house that we live in is cursed. I think that there's an evil spirit that lives there. I often wonder if that neighborhood was actually built on an Indian burial ground, actually. You know? I mean, sometimes we had cats that looked down the hallway at things that looked like the angle of what they were looking at was like someone was standing in the hallway. And that was back when my wife was alive. Me and my wife saw that. That kind of freaked us out a little bit. You know, when you're sitting there and you got 2 cats that are on the bed, and then all of a sudden both of the cats look up in the hallway And you look in the hallway, you don't see nothing, but they could both see the same thing. They're both looking at the exact same thing. I mean, it's crazy. There goes, it looks like a police officer, man, but maybe not. But yeah, so like I said, you know, we got it good in America. We fought long and hard to make this country great. And it's so great that everybody in the world wants to come here. And honestly, if they come here legally and go through the proper means to get here and to earn that American citizenship, then by God, come on over here. And you know, it's a wonderful place to live. I'm very blessed to have been born here and to have had the parents I had. My father was a U.S. Army veteran for 22 years in some of the most wickedest times this nation's ever went through. Right after World War II, through the Korean War, and into the Cold War with the Russians. So he did some pretty dark stuff. But you got to be happy that you're alive, that you're healthy, that you can get around, that you got a ability to get somewhere. And even if you're just stuck somewhere, you can get out of the house, you can walk down the street, go buy you a tea. I mean, back in the day, I'd say go buy you a Coke, but as you know, if you've ever watched my videos, I mean, I will still have a regular Coke with ice every now and then, but I will never ever put aspartame or Splenda sucralose in my body again, period, ever. Not if I have a choice. And unfortunately, if you like Pepto-Bismol, sucralose is in Pepto-Bismol. I'm like going, God darn it, guys. Come on. Put some stevia in that shit. But if you think about it, because the sucralose kills stomach bacteria, and if you got a stomach ailment, maybe the sucralose killing your gut will make you feel better. So maybe that's the one case where sucralose makes sense, where it's attacking your stomach. This is a huge greenhouse company that does all of the plants and stuff, like the Home Depots and stuff around here. It's pretty cool. I've seen this place grow from just an open farm to a huge business in the last like 20 years. It's just amazing to see how they grew. So here we are, we're rolling along down through here, and one of the neat things about this drive is that obviously the natural beauty that it shows on the sides of the road, the natural beauty of Virginia, but then it also gives you a little reminder about how serious things got and how serious things still are with our relationships with other countries, because we still face the specter of nuclear annihilation. You know, that didn't go away, no matter how much people want to talk about it. I mean, the SALT treaties didn't change the fact that we still have nuclear missiles that are aimed at us, and therefore we must have nuclear missiles that are aimed at other nations too. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Speed limit drops right here to 45 miles an hour. There you go. Look, I'm doing 47, prick. Come on. Damn. So, I don't know if the video is still going, but down here on the left-hand side, there's an installation that I believe is from the Cold War, and I think it's still actually active, and it takes advantage of the topography of Virginia. And what it is it's a installation that has radar and stuff in it. That's an early warning radar for the United States. And if you see that mountain on the left-hand side, that's part of it. I don't know if I've already passed it or not. I'm surprised it's 45 down through here. I guess it's because of this intersection. But we open up here again. Can't believe it's still 45. Hell, we're all doing 55. There we go. There's 55. So anyway, this shows you that, you get out of the combustion. You get out of the combustion in Virginia, dirt. You get out of congestion in Virginia, and you come into this beautiful rolling countryside. You see the mountains back there. Those are the mountains of Virginia and West Virginia. There is some of the best driving. If you own a motorcycle, that is some of the best driving you will ever do. There's Luck Stone on the left-hand side, and obviously here's another one of those growing centers over here. This is what the growing center used to look like that we just passed back in the day, where they would just have those little tents over their product and not the great big glassed in places that you saw that we just passed. And that's how businesses in America start. You start small, you make profit, you reinvest the money into the business. If you're lucky, you don't have a administration that taxes you to death, so you're able to take the money and reinvest it in the business, and you're able to hire more people, and you're able to do things. You're able to make good things happen for yourself and your people. And that's what America's all about. I love these farms like this. I just wonder, it just blows my mind how these farms are able to stay in business and make money in the predatory nature of how they have to sell their crops. And the thing that kills me about that is the guy who makes the big money on the crops is not the farmer. The guy who makes the big money on the crops is the reseller, the person who sets the price, sticks it to the farmer, and then resells the crops for 10 times as much. I don't know if it's 10 times as much, but anyway, you get the idea. But yeah, I think we might be coming up on that special location that I was telling you about the place that was built, to protect America, to give early warning to Americans about nuclear missiles coming at us. But I mean, now we have satellites and stuff like that, but the dangerous part about satellites and depending on them is that if you have a hunter satellite and you have proximity to your enemy's satellites, hell, if you're organized, you can knock their satellites out in a span of a half an hour. You can knock their satellites completely out and they're screwed, they're blind. And even better than that is, if you have people you pay inside the U.S. government to give you the codes to those satellites so that you don't even have to attack them, you can just break the codes and you can disable the satellites. And if you really determine, hell, you can just take and deactivate them. This stretch of trees here hides the place I'm talking about. It wouldn't do any good for me to turn the camera. But on the top of that hill is a concrete installation. And that concrete installation is part of the early warning system of the United States government to tell the leaders of the United States if we are under attack. And that's just amazing to see. That's a nice old Ford right there.